Well, first of all, some folks have asked me how I got involved in this, because I will tell you, when I was first approached about the big toy, I said, actually, I want to work on the football field over at McNary. And then the more I heard about the project, and then Rotary got involved, and I'm the community services director for Rotary. Next thing I know, talking to Clint. Clint says, yeah, I'll help you with it. And just kind of like tonight when he said, Mark, hey, could you come and help cook for about an hour and a half, and then you can go ahead and watch the concert? And I'm still up there cooking until just a few minutes ago. We talked about the 1,000 folks that showed up. I've got story after story after story. But one of the things that I wanted everybody to understand is kind of how this thing, how it came about, and really what kind of effort it really was. First of all, in Kaiser we kind of do things a little different. That is, we try to put everything together and do it volunteer. This is a volunteer effort. There's a little bit of tax dollar in it. Our taxes are low because we do these kinds of things. And so we do a little different in that sometimes it takes a lot of time, it certainly takes a lot of effort, and there's usually an opinion or two that are not the same when we do these things. But we work it all out. In this particular case, we had 14 committees. Now, I have to tell you, I've done a lot of projects, mostly software projects, public safety software stuff, dealing with a lot of agencies. And this was really not that much different. We had 14 committees doing all kinds of different things. We had a overall coordinating committee, which was chaired by Marlene Quinns. Marlene here? Marlene's not here. And also Richard Waltz. Richard's here. I heard Richard. There's Richard. And this committee kind of oversaw everything that was going on. We met every month. And then we had 13 other committees. Everything from fundraising, public relations, volunteers, children's group, child care, materials and donations, food, tools, design and special features, special needs, construction captains, safety and security. And then I had my own little team, of which Clint, for example, was one of them. And I just went to Clint and said, okay, Clint, on June 10th, we're going to start this community build. You have it ready. And so that's kind of what happened. We started taking trees out, and we started moving ground around, and we started digging holes, and we started putting posts in holes. By the time we started on June 10th, we were basically a day ahead, which was really good because we had half as many volunteers as we had anticipated. But we were only 4 hours short of completing the project after 5 days. And so that's pretty amazing. Some of the comments that we got, which from we had 3 wise men from New York that came here as construction consultants that helped us out with Leathers and Associates, and it was interesting because one of them had done 250 of these toys, and he made some comments that I thought was pretty interesting. First, he said, "This is the driest place I've ever been." You got to remember, he's from New York. He also said, this is one of the dustiest, if not the dirtiest build I've ever been involved in. And he was talking about how he'd been in Oklahoma and Nebraska and places like that. I told him that, this is not really normal, but I will take what we had during those 5 days over what I expected, which was rain. I was all prepared for rain. I wasn't prepared for 10 to 15 degree weather, warmer than normal. I wasn't prepared for Kaiser-Salem area and the Eugene area to be the #1 place in the country for the highest pollen count. We'd never done that before. We set a record.
We're #1!
And so the folks that did come out worked very hard under not all that great conditions. And starting Wednesday, which is the hardest day because you're lifting up 200 and 300 pound composite beams and putting them in holes and doing all that kind of stuff. It was a tough day. We did a lot of it ahead of time, which was great. And so understand that the amount of materials that we used is the equivalent of building 2 small houses. 2 small houses in 5.5 days. Not only that, if you've ever built a house before, you go and buy studs, they're all pre-cut and everything. Well, we were ripping our own lumber. They didn't make 2x4s. We had to have 82x4s, so we had to make our own. And there isn't one piece of composite lumber in that toy that wasn't cut at least once. Not one piece. So everything had to be cut, sometimes more than once, depending on what we were using it for. There isn't one stick of real wood in it anywhere. It is all composite. And it's built that way so it'll last 30, 40, 50 years. At least that's our hope. So over that 5 days, we get to Sunday afternoon and we're going, God, are we going to make it? We're going to be able to have a soft opening? And what it came down to is we didn't have enough wood chips. There were other things that would have kept us maybe from opening up because we wanted to make sure there weren't any sharp edges and screws sticking out and things like that. But it came down and we didn't have enough wood chips. We didn't order enough. And you have to have 12 inches of wood chips so when you fall, you bounce. So we wanted to make sure the kids would bounce when they fell off stuff. So we didn't open up that afternoon. But the next day, here's something amazing. We had as many people show up on Monday, a day we didn't advertise, a day we didn't seek volunteers for, as we did on Saturday. And Monday we completed everything for the big tour. That talks volumes about what Kaiser's all about. Everybody realized that, hey, we really needed to get this thing done. We could see it. We saw the crane put the tops on. We were ready. We really wanted to open it up, but we just really couldn't. So we went ahead Monday and finished it off. And then Tuesday we did another walk around. We ended up doing, ended up with 11 groups of 2 going in opposite directions 8 times before we went through the entire toy and came back and said we didn't find a sharp edge and we didn't find a screw sticking out. So once we did all that, and then we got our wood chips on Friday, and then we opened up Saturday at 9 o'clock, and within 7 minutes somebody came up and said, hey, do you know there's 2 screws sticking out of the back of a picket in the back there? So we ran around, took the screws out, and you know, I guess we shouldn't be too shocked. 140,000 screws. 140,000 screws. And so here you go. You've got all these people out there with 60 drills and 35 or 40 saws and all kinds of other stuff. And they're putting all this thing together, a custom built toy. And we get it done with half as many people in about 5.5 days. Pretty darn good. We should be proud. We had 16 build captains, and it kind of grew from there. We had some folks that distinguished themselves during the time we were out there, and I wanted to let the build captains, they need some recognition because they were there from 7 o'clock in the morning to 9:30, 10, 10:30 at night, every day, most of them including Monday. And these folks, Bill Lawyer, Randy Cook, they're the leads on that. Randy also ran the prefab tent. Dorothy Deal, Debbie Lockhart, David Loudon. David hurt his hand, what you and I would call a merry-go-round, but I guess now they call it a, what do they call that little thing? The plastic merry-go-round looking thing. Spinner. Yeah, spinner, a spinner. Orange spinner. It landed on his hand, and that hurt. Phil Bay, Robert Johnson, David Ratcliffe, Steve Ray. Steve, one of the best framers I have ever seen in my life. And like the 3rd day, he hurts himself. Hurt himself pretty significantly, Achilles. And so we kind of pondered through that, but we had another guy that stepped up for us and was able to help out, and that was Jay Marlette, and he took over that project. We had on that volcano, we had 5 to 6 guys for 6 days to build that. Very technical, very difficult to build. It turned out great. No? Okay. Mike Fessick, Juan Alman, Bouchette, Brad Beverly, Gary Whalen, and we had some Matt Lawyer, and then we had some honoraries. We had Danny Dietz and Bob Shackelford and Seth, I can't remember Seth's last name, and then we had my favorite, Tie-Dye Pat. Tie-Dye Pat. He was there every day. I'd come out and he'd still be there. So, a round of applause for all our thanks. So, I guess what I want to end with is Kaiser has taken on 2 very significant projects. We've done the big toy, and now we're stepping into the McNary athletic field. And we're doing this all in 1 year. I'm begging folks, let's take a rest for about 18 months or so. Think about what we really want to do, you know, rather than jumping right into something, Mayor, please. Lori, former mayor, please.
Can I still buy a picket?
You can buy a picket. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. You can all still buy a picket. The pickets are still available. They go on the outside, and you get, that's like, what, $35 for a picket.
Right. Custom. Anything you want on it.
17 character maximum. 17 characters and spaces. So, you know, like when Bob Zielinski wanted a picket, you had to call him B. Zielinski. Okay. One other thing I wanted to tell everybody is that we could not have done this without the support of a couple significant organizations. One, of course, is the City of Kaiser. They did fantastic. They really stepped up big time in all kinds of ways, donating the land, donating some money, donating a lot of help, basically loaned us their equipment during this time, and they were so easy to deal with, just incredibly easy to deal with. Marion County stepped up big time with money, leadership, a couple tents, you know, some things like that. And I don't want to leave anybody out, and the list is extensive, but there's a couple other organizations that are not governmental that I want you to make sure that you understood, that really stepped up. Highway Specialties donated all the signs, all the lighting. They donated all kinds of stuff for us. They sent a crew out with a truck and dug holes. We had to dig 357 holes, and so did an incredible job there. Hertz Rental. Incredible what they did for us. Our pods, a lot of our equipment. All of a sudden we needed a cat to do some last minute work, and within 15 minutes we literally had a Caterpillar tractor available to us, and we could finish what we needed to do. They were absolutely incredible with their generator and all their electrical stuff. Yeah, and we also had several other organizations like Marion County, or excuse me, Kaiser Fire CERT team was out there doing our security, doing our parking. They also, half of them also were involved in the art tent, doing a bunch of stuff out there too. You know, and last but certainly not least is Kaiser Rotary. Kaiser Rotary basically did phase one, Clint's phase. Kaiser Rotary and Kaiser Rotary Friends. They came out and did all the preparation. That was its phase all unto itself. Clint led that, and Kaiser Rotary really stepped up. Also during the build, Kaiser Rotary was there throughout the time, plus they donated thousands and thousands of dollars. And so, again, Kaiser Rotary stepped up big time, and we really appreciate that. And so, without any more talking more than I usually do, I just want to again thank you, and I want to remind all of you that there was 800 to 1,000 folks that did this, and I was proud to be one of them. Thank you.
I'd also like to have Lori Christopher stand up. The mayor, stand up, Lori. You know, we started all this stuff during her term, and a lot of this wouldn't happen. She kept things rolling really good, and Lori, thanks very much. One other person I'd like to recognize, you may not know this whole facility out here was a dream of one man, and that's Richard Walsh. And I'd like to have Richard Walsh, would you stand up? He liked the property so much, the park, that he moved onto the park up here, and he rents a house from us so he could be real close all the time. So again, thank you very much. I hope you get a chance to go over and see the big toy.
All right.
All right, let's have some more music, shall we? Thanks for coming tonight.